Hey, everybody. It's Gina from Ether Flows podcast. And with me today is Kimberly from Queen of Swords for Hire. She is an activator, she's a healer, she's a metaphysician, she's a multidimensional, who knows what else there could be inside the enigma that is Kimberly from Queen of Swords for Hire. I was on Instagram and I saw her profile, and she has some friends in common with me, and she ended up just messaging me asking if we wanted to. I actually asked her if she wanted to collaborate, and she thankfully said yes. So I am super excited to learn more about Kimberly. What's up, Kimberly?
Hello. Thank you very much for the invitation. Yeah, this is
Absolutely.
good vibe. I liked your
like it.
name. That I messaged you first. I thought your name, Ether Flow, was beautiful. That's why. Yeah.
I chose it because, I mean, that's what builds everything. Ethers. Everything is
hmm
ether. Everything is energy. And I mean, whether you're into like feng shui or qigong or just moving the energy around your body, like that's what it is. And I feel like for me, with my healing practice, a lot of what I do is work with the etheric body. And so I figured, why not just call it Ether Flows? So,
Yeah. Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah. My name just came to me. I knew that I got the gift of light language very unexpectedly, even though I had been watching for a while. And a good friend of mine, Sage with Soul Harmony Magic, told me that I was going to start speaking light language. Um, the the idea of it actually happening was like, how, but it did. I got it. And I didn't really know what to do with it for a while. And then I recorded quite a few videos when I was up in Mount Shasta in 2022. And which funny, I'm wearing a Mount Shasta sweater. We just came back from there in
That's
December.
awesome.
Yeah, I love, love, love Mount Shasta. So I was like, okay. So right before that, one day I'm sitting on my couch and the name just came to me. And I like tarot, but I'm not really a tarot reader. I have quite a few decks, but I just don't use it because I think I skipped a lot of my needing the tools. And
Mm.
like everyone has a different, like we all get to the same place eventually, but I think everyone has a different way of getting there, and some people it's crystals or tarot or um conversations. And I don't know. I have a deck, and I have the Aquarius deck that I've had for a very long time, and
What's the Aquarius deck?
it's
Oh, I have the Aquarian deck. I have this
it might
one.
yeah.
Is that's like the only one that I have.
Yeah. Funny that I even brought it up, like, because why would I
That
bring
is
it up?
so funny.
Well,
Wow.
it's sitting on my desk, and the Queen of Swords would always come to the top, and so I just
Mm.
thought the picture was cool, and I left it up, and so as I was thinking, like, what would really be a good name, I looked up the definition, and she helps you speak the truth, or she brings the truth to the front, right? And I thought, that's really cool, and then I'm like, okay, well, I like to help people. I activate people. I know that I'm an activator, so um you can speak your truth through me.
That's
um
amazing.
and so I just that as soon as the name came to me, I was like, that's cool. And I looked it up, nobody had it, and I made an account on everything, but I didn't use them for like 6 months, but I
Mm.
knew, like, grab the name. That's
Right.
funny. Yeah.
And it's a little sassy too, I'd
Yeah.
say. It's
Yeah.
got it's got a little edge to it, like a
Little yeah.
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm very honest, so that,
That's
the
good.
yeah.
I'm glad you're honest. I don't want you on my channel lying, you know.
Yeah. Misleading people here.
Right. Well, that's funny that you said that because, like, for me, a huge part of my, I guess one of the biggest themes for me personally is the throat chakra and communication and like first off, deciphering what your truth is, like actually getting to know who you are and what you actually believe, and then speaking those truths and not being afraid of judgment or rejection or whatever. So I'm still like, I'm in the middle of a big I did an ancestral clearing with a friend of mine last night, and there's one friend of mine in particular that I've had dozens of lives with, and every time I talk to this person, my throat locks up. And they're one of my best friends, you know, like sibling sort of relationship, like very close. But it turns out we have a lot of lives together that involve like vows, or you know, just stuff with the throat chakra. So it's been a big process for me, just like peeling the onion and really trying to get in touch with my throat chakra and what my truth is, and like why this stuff is happening. So it's, I love light language. I've practiced with it, but I've had a really challenging time with light language because of just being able to relax and being able to, like, I'm a natural channel. I channel energy, but for some reason there's kind of a disconnect between like speaking the energy
Mhm.
and just channeling it. So I'm
Well,
still in the process of working with that.
mine dropped in my hands. So
Oh, okay.
I do speak it, but I don't speak it in my sessions. I made a few videos where I spoke over with a it doesn't matter if people choose to find it, they find it. But what's interesting, okay, so I use my hands and it flows. So if a- uh I'm very boy, I'm just stumbling. I'm very bad at speaking right now is what's happening. Um
Maybe
at
it's my throat chakra
Yeah,
affecting you.
I have too many tabs open right now. Um at some point after this interview, I'm very happy to gift you a session, and maybe that would
Oh,
help. That should help activate. I've had
oh, thank you.
three people have their light language kick in that I didn't even realize. Like they told me afterwards, after our session. But my son speaks it all day, every day, and
Oh,
like
okay.
naturally, and his comes through as a there's some connection to Native American languages with him. He's on the spectrum and high functioning, but also completely unaffected by society and what's expected and the norms, right? So he is the most authentic being I've ever witnessed. Like I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. And so he's a mixture of this beautiful authenticity where anything goes and he can self-express, but he also is able to, function in the real world. And so he all day long I hear him speaking languages, and he goes in and out almost like here in Southern California, we have the term Spanglish, where people speak Spanish and English in the same sentences, just because they're
Mhm.
easier words. That's what he does. So not when we're out and not in conversation, but I hear him all the time in his room, and I don't even think he's aware of it half the time that he's doing it. It's really cool. I'm almost jealous because it doesn't flow through me verbally in the way that it does with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, so I told you a little bit about myself before the video. I work with people on the spectrum, and a lot a lot of times I'll see people, it's called, you know the term stimming, right?
Mhm. Oh
I
yeah.
feel like I feel like that's kind of what's happening. I've read that when people who are neurodivergent, or you know, something similar, when they start stimming is like an activity that
Mhm,
calms the nervous system for them.
mhm.
And yeah, I'll see people like with the hand flapping. It's called hand flapping,
Yeah.
but it looks like light language to me. And
Mm,
there's one of my clients in particular does that quite a bit, and the stimming, and it's like at first it kind of sounds like gibberish, but then when I tune into it, I can
mhm.
feel the energy behind it, and I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
That,
Forrest
yeah, it's so cool.
So my son Forrest is 27, but when he was younger, he would mix. It took him a while to. He had a very large vocabulary, but it took him a long time to speak and then put sentences together, and it was gradual. And so when I would hear him use what I always assumed was gibberish, now with where he has evolved to on his ascension, I realized that it was light language back then, but I didn't know what that was. And um, I always just thought it was just part of his unique makeup, and now I realize, yeah, I never thought about the stemming like that though. Because from what I understand through educating myself through like Tyel heals, or we're friends. I have you and I have Rion and Shauna as in common. I created a group called Enlighten Up Media, and they're part of it.
Mm.
Tyel's part of it, and my friend Sage and our friend Barbara. So I learned a lot through Tyel because, of course, I was drawn to him when I was about to receive my gift, and I watched a ton of his lives on TikTok, and got a lot of sessions there. And then also I've had 3 or 4 with him, like personal sessions, which are incredible. If anyone is seeking to wake up their light language and either bring it in or just completely shake up their chemistry and like accelerate their progress, I could not recommend him more. It's amazing. But
Okay. I'll check him
but
out.
yeah, he's wonderful. But in addition to that though, like I've honed my skills, and now I'm much further along, and I do that for people as well, and we all have our own recipe of what made us, right? And so you're drawn to different people for different reasons. Um so okay, so back to my point. Um Through him, and then also through just witnessing my hundreds of sessions that I've done, when I do light language in a session, it always goes to the different chakra centers, and we go in. I I don't look for it, just things come up. Like, I'm in a flow state, so I'm not looking for anything. I'm just allowing whatever to happen, because I know that my higher self and your higher self, my guides and your guides, like, we're all in a group meeting.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you are facilitating it. I'm a conduit for this energy. If something needs to be unlocked, blocks removed, um, situations brought up, that helps clear, right? And luckily, because we're in such a great flow state, when something that could normally trigger you, like shadow work, when it comes up, it's like we're looking at it from an objective place, and so it
Hmm.
doesn't evolve a lot. I mean, people do cry. A lot of time, almost everybody cries during energy work, but it it doesn't hit you in the way that it does when you're in the middle of dealing with something in the 3D and a memory resurfaces and hits you and like takes you out. So I know that I am working on the chakra centers, and it took me a while to try to figure out what I was doing, but my hands work within a line in front of me, and they go to the different places where the chakras are located. And light language is so fascinating because the best way to compare it, like in the most 3D way, is we all know assuming everyone can walk, or everyone has tried to roller skate or swim or something, right? Muscle memory dictates how you can continue that. So
Hmm.
as you're walking, you don't think about every step you're taking, or as you're moving your hands, you don't think about the fact that you're doing it. There is something in you that learned that a long time ago, and so it just, even though we know that you're sending messages to your brain that I'm about to move my hand, I'm about to take a step, I'm not going to sink when I'm swimming. That's what light language feels like.
Hmm.
Almost like you're dancing, like you don't have to stop and think about everything that you're doing. When I'm in the middle of light language, I could stop it, or I can tell that my hands are about to go up or they're about to go down, or we're focused in this area. But luckily, I am able to go into such a flow state that it just happens naturally. Um, and I don't think you could ever do it. I don't think you could ever purposely do it. I don't think you could there's no way to force it. It's just something that comes in, and yeah, it's interesting. And then the language involves ego. Like, you have to get out of your own way to allow that to come through. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I haven't really, it's been a bit easier for me lately. I'll be out in the woods or, by myself or walking around with the dog somewhere. And sometimes it'll just come out, sometimes I'll just, blah, 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 something will come out and usually about half a second afterwards, I'll feel like a big rush of energy come in. And that's how I know it's like, oh, okay, I was supposed to say that. That was light language for something in my field. But yeah, I had some friends that really wanted me to speak light language, and they were like, just try it, we'll do some sessions together. And it really felt like I was forcing it,
Hmm.
and I feel like that kind of shut it down even more. And because then I would start to say stuff, and then I was like, wait a second, is that me, or is that the light language? Am I just trying to like pacify my friends who want me to do this, or am I you know what I mean? I kind of got myself into like a little rabbit hole of doubt. And
Yeah.
so I kind of just, yeah, I put it away for a long time. And now, like, it comes up every once in a while when I'm alone and when I'm relaxed. I talk a lot in my sleep, though, too. My partner is like, oh, you were saying some weird stuff in your sleep. I don't, like, I
While you're
couldn't
in the
really make it out, but
you're in the astral.
yeah,
That's cool. That's
yeah,
funny. That's really
yeah,
funny. That would
but
make
yeah.
perfect sense. Uh, yeah. Yeah, you have to it's I'm gonna say it's a version of channeling, but you're channeling yourself,
Hmm.
and your guides, but, like, they're I don't know how to say this right. Like, some people would say everything is a version of you, but
Right.
we still do say my guides and my angel team, or, whatever. So whether they are an aspect of us, I feel like um still an independence to them. And so when the other part of it is, I don't when I speak it, I don't know what I'm saying. I know the
Mm.
intention. My son knows what he's saying, because I can ask him questions. How do you say this? How do you say this? Or, well, I hear him doing dialogue. Like, he'll repeat videos or movies that he likes. He'll play it and then he'll say the parts, but it's cute. He'll change the characters' names in the video to like his favorite, uh, what he's into, right? And so
Mhm.
I'll hear him use the dialogue from something and then, like, personalize it. And then sometimes I hear him do both parts, and some of it'll be in, like, English, and some it'll be in light language. So I know that he has a better grasp, because nothing has ever told him that he can't do that,
Yes.
we have this
Yes.
monkey mind that stops us. So when you started, did they encourage you to bring in sounds like singing?
Um, I think it started out mainly with like just play around with it. Like just speak some gibberish right now.
Yeah,
Just do it. And
yeah,
so I'd be like blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
blah, and like just kind of just be silly and trying
Yeah.
to keep it light. And I have done toning before. I feel like
Mhm.
toning is easier for me. Like,
Well, that's the best way to get it to go. Like, aliens
oh.
they love to sing, and, that's how it started for me. It's it's interesting, I think, although I'm not surprised, because it put me in the location, but both of my receiving both the hand light language, what was first, and the verbal, was while I was driving. So odd.
Oh, no, that's not odd at all because you're in a moving meditation. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I find myself doing that all the time. I feel like I lose time when I drive.
Mhm. Well, I was
It's so easy to like pop out of your body and just kind of go on automatic. And like that's when I get super big downloads too, is when I'm driving. I'll get really good insights and downloads.
Mhm. Well, it was June of 2022. I just had a really cool frequency upgrade session with Case Parks, who's part of our group,
Oh,
our
okay.
light lang Enlighten Up Media. I left his name out before. I didn't mean to. And he is a frequency master. He's an incredible person. And I had a session with him, and I liked it so much that like a month later, I booked a more intense one. So that was like April, May, and then June. I love to go on road trips. My son and I love to go on road trips, and we do it like once or twice a year. And I'm heading to Sedona, and I got off the freeway to get out a charger because I didn't want to. This was a few years ago, it's interesting how technology advances so quickly. But I wanted to charge my phone faster because I was using the map on my phone. Now it works on my car, but so I decide to just pull over. I get off on this exit and I grab this charger. And right when I got back in, a song came on that I love. And as we took off, I was just so happy, and I just felt so much lighter and freer because it was literally a few hours into our road trip. Like we have this week of like all these exciting adventures and all this like amazing stuff coming. And boy, did I like that was a life-changing road trip. I had so many woo experiences. It was amazing. So we like within 1 minute of getting back on the freeway, I was kind of dancing a little to the music because I was just in such a good mood. And all of a sudden I'm like I see my hands doing it, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing light language. And I knew at that moment that's what it was, and I'm like driving with a huge smile on my face, tears are streaming down my face. I'm doing it, and I was like, now like now, really
Yeah.
now,
Let me pull over at
yeah.
least.
Yeah. And when we went to Sedona, and the next day I had a session with Rion, and he told me, why that happened. And I'm like, no. I knew, I was told that it was coming. I'm not surprised that I got it. I just thought it was a little odd. And he said it's because you had to get away from the 5G and the city and everything. And he said it's probably been waiting to come out. You just had to get far enough away from everything for it to activate. Um, so yeah, so that, and then later that year, I had gone to a really cool retreat. My friend Kimberly McGeorge, host her business is Secret to Everything. She is one of the most incredible people I've ever had conversations with. There's so much to talk about with her. She hosted a retreat in Sedona, and I went to it with my son. And then when we were driving away, when we were leaving the retreat, leaving Sedona, I started listening to this video that my friend Sage, Soul Harmony Magic, when she had sent me months ago, and I forgot about it, and it came up in my feed, or I was looking for something to listen to. I don't remember, but it's these two women. I wish I had their name right now. I'm sorry I don't. It's such a great video, and I've sent it to a lot of people to help, but it's just to help you activate your light language. So I put it on, and I just started talking. But so much toning came in at first, and singing, and I'm a singer, like I'm a trained singer from school.
Oh, okay.
And so, but which I never use in public for some reason. I'm very shy about it. But I wasn't that surprised that the toning and the singing came through, because that's a natural state for me. And then a lot of times in the shower, I would play with it, and it always started to come through that way.
Hmm.
And then with light language, I've found for me, like some people have like so many dialects, and they can switch into different dialects, like that's really impressive to me. I don't have that skill. I always speak the same language, and the words sound very similar over and over again. But
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed that
right?
with me too.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. I do know that, like, my tone fluctuates, and when I'm doing it with my hands, I can say, "Do Syrian, do dragon," whatever, and my hands do like, I feel a difference, and my hands shift a bit, so I do know that I can filter through it. But then I realize in the end, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not performing for anybody. I'm not speaking directly to a Syrian or an Arcturian, like, at that moment, so it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's really cool. So it has so much to do with like who you are and your blueprint and your multidimensional parts, and how it comes through, and what comes out. And um it's to heal people. It's definitely to heal
Mhm.
people and activate it in others and help people remember who they are. I mean, ultimately, and then mine has. Do you channel
Oh,
information?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that
Um, well, energy. I haven't really, I mean, I have practiced a bit of channeling, like, and I've gotten some white tigers at one point. That was the last time I did it, and it felt like the frequency difference was so intense that, like, I thought I was gonna throw up, to tell you the truth. Like,
mhm,
it was so intense, and, like, um, that was the last time I did, like, speaking channeling, but I I'm very it's easy to channel energy for me,
yeah.
but yeah.
Well, I after doing light language for a few months, I set up a few sessions with different people just because I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something with this. So
Mhm.
just out of curiosity, I was like, do you want to do a session? And when I would do light language, I would get these visuals. And at first I didn't say anything because I just figured it was part of, like, I have a creative mind, you know. But then when I brought up, I was like, you know what, just don't hold back, just do it. Oh, actually, I think the first time I was doing a live on TikTok with my friend Sage, Soul Harmony Magic. She was hosting a thing where people could, I think for like $5 or something, and then she would read for them. She's so connected, so beautifully connected, so psychic. That's a limiting word for her abilities, actually. And so she was giving people messages, and I was doing light language while she was doing the messages. And then after the first one, she said, "Kimberly, did anything come through for you?" And it did. You know, I had all these visuals, but I was just doing my thing, you know, and so I shared and I was 100% accurate. Like
Oh,
like
wow.
it and I was like, Where did that come from?" You know, because I had seen so I said, "Yeah, I saw, like, an ocean, it was at night, it was really beautiful. There's a hot air balloon, and it was kinda hovering above," and, I don't remember what else I told her, and then the girl immediately wrote in the message bot or the text whatever, the chat, "I was in a hot air balloon yesterday," and I was like,
That's so cool.
where would that come from, you know?
I
But
love that.
I need it was a little interesting for it to happen like that, but I was like, "Okay, there is something to this," and so then I started to realize my whole life I've been doing this. I've been getting these visions, and we just before you wake up, you assume it's in being intuitive, paying attention to body language, knowing the person and assuming, you know, and I'm like, I've been a channeler my whole life. I just wasn't I it was like this inner dialogue that I wasn't sharing. Clearly it was influencing advice. You know, I've always been a counselor or um, what I quickly realized, I don't know about you, but within moments of meeting someone, they are sharing the most personal stuff,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
it almost always sexual trauma, you know,
Mm.
and like really private stuff to where
Yeah, it's
I mean,
always relationship stuff with me.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, so, great, I'm here to help. I've had a rocky life, you know, and I've learned a lot and I've done a lot of shadow work, so and I don't judge and it stays with me, and so I'm a good person for it, but when you start putting all those pieces together, you realize that you've been doing like the role that I have now as an activator, as somebody who helps others get out of their own way. I've been doing it my whole life, but now I have this added component, and now that I realized what I'm doing, I am such a powerful channeler. Like during the sessions, I'm telling people tons of stuff that I would never know. You know,
Hmm.
and I would
Yeah.
never know. And it really helps, and I'm grateful. You know, I'm grateful to be part of that process. But when I first started doing the sessions, when it was like I really I knew what I was doing, I was like, "Where's this been?" You know, like
It's been tucked away behind your left
yeah.
knee.
Yeah, like, I just started a new career, like, after a lifetime of
Right.
you know, I've had a wedding cake company for 24 years, like, where'd this come
Wow.
from? Yeah,
Dude,
that's
buttercream is
3D.
hard to make.
Yes, yeah, baking is hard, baking
Yeah.
is a science, you can
I
get
was a cook for half my life, so
yeah,
I totally get it. Yeah, I feel like you and I have a lot of parallels. There's a
yeah.
lot of parallels going on. But you're like an intuitive guidance counselor, and your
Mhm,
light language helps you get into the channeling mode. It
mhm.
helps you to be open to receive those images and to be able to tell
Yeah,
the story and also to give the energetic support as well. So
and
you're on it.
yeah, well, it is, so I was just gonna refer to see I saw a clip of Bashar, and I heard light language, so I tuned in, right? And
Mhm.
he said because they were asking about light language, and he said light language is your, light language happen is what happens before you start channeling. And I thought that was
Hmm.
interesting because I didn't really make the connection. I just figured I raised my vibration and frequency and remembered who I am, and upgraded my DNA enough that my other multi-sensory abilities started to kick in, and I
Mhm.
embraced them and I wasn't afraid of them. But it I could see how it could be a precursor because it shifts energy, and once you experience something that is so beyond anything you've ever known and you're doing it yourself, like it's undeniable. When you feel something, like when you feel energy work, when you receive Reiki from someone, or in my case, Everyday Masters, when I felt this frequency in a Zoom session come through and my body was affected in such a profound way, after that session, I knew that there was more. I didn't doubt it before, but now I knew. Now I had had this experience that proved to me that there's so much more than that for us to explore,
Hmm.
and so all these little steps lead from one thing to another. It's really cool. It's really cool, and you learning have. I think your I think your greatest abilities come in when you learn how to hack your ego.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like, when you're not
Absolutely.
led by your ego, when you don't show up because you wanna be on camera or you want someone to acknowledge that your gifts are strong, and, like, when none of that matters and you just show up and you're like, "I'm here to help. I'm good at
Mhm.
it." Like, you can be proud of I'm very good at what I do. I'm extremely psychic. I don't know what else other word to use. So I'm extremely psychic. I'm a really powerful activator. I know people can feel this frequency and this energy that comes off of my hands. I get constant confirmations about that. So I don't besides sharing that part, that's where it ends. Like, the rest is
Mhm.
just like, how can I be of service? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And it goes the opposite way as well. Like, as for me, I my guides told me to start a YouTube channel, and I told them to F off. I was like, F that, I'm not doing that. And they were like, "We talked about this. We've talked about this so many, like, you need to do this. This is in the plan. This is in the mix. You're doing it."
Mhm.
And I was like, "No, I am a back of the house kitchen person. I don't talk to the front of the house. I don't talk to people. I stay in the back. I'm a wallflower. I don't like to be seen. I don't like to be heard." And
Like, "Can we just
so
get you to
it's
expo? Can we just get you to
I know,
in
yeah.
between
Hey,
the
I'm
kitchen
great.
and the servers?" Yeah.
Yeah, I'm great at expo. But, like, for me, my at the time, I was going through so much shadow work, and, like, the first few years of awakening for me, it goes in stages, right? Like, you have big moments, and then you kind of as for me, I kind of would either ignore them or kind of just, like, put them on the back shelf, and life would go on as usual. But this last time I was like, no, I need help with this, because I know I'm supposed to do something, but I'm not accessing it. I'm not sure how to get this done. So I had a mentor for about 6 months, this woman named Aisha Love, and she just was amazing. Like, just one of the most powerful, incredible people I've ever met. And we worked very closely for about 6 months. And yeah, at some point, my guides were like, "This is what you got to do." And I'm like, "I'm not fucking doing this. No, I don't want this. This is not what I want." And it was really because my self-esteem was like so, and my self-confidence was so low. I had no self-confidence at all. I was like,
Oh,
I'm not a healer. I'm not special. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm a normal person who's just, I have a lot of emotions. That's all. And it's
it's
like,
yeah, what's the term when you have a not false, self okay, keep going, sorry, there's a term for that. We all go through it.
yeah, it's like the other polarity of having like a huge ego, huge fragile ego. It's like having this big negative sort of image ego about yourself. And so having to break through all that and being like, no, this is not you. This is like ancestral garbage. This is stuff coming from, your
Mhm.
environment, your parents, your programming, your negative beliefs, all this like
Yeah.
false shit that you
Mhm.
just need to drop right now. So it took a while. And so, yeah. And so I started this channel and started coming more into playing the role of healer. And like, it was so hard for me to even admit it to myself that I was a healer. It just felt like, it's so woo. It's so, I don't want that. And it was all about judgment and self rejection and self judgment. I mean, everything that you perceive in the external is going on inside of
Mhm.
yourself. So,
Well, imagining
so
even the people in just you have all of this come in, you're supposed to do something with it, and
but it's
that's
not
what
what you want to do.
well, even if it's what you even if you're okay with doing it privately, putting it out into the world is really
Oh, it's terrifying.
intimidating. That's why I went with Queen of Swords for Hire also. I never connected my name to anything. I started these very separate accounts. If I saw any kind of merging on social media, I would block people. Not because I was
Oh,
embarrassed, but because I didn't want an intervention. I
mm,
didn't want to explain myself to anybody. Like, this is me
right.
being authentic, but the only way I could be authentic was
Privately.
privately. Yeah, it took it
Yeah.
there's a fear of failure, there's a fear of success. Um, there are so many unfortunate in every aspect of this game, this 3D game, there are people who misrepresent and want um approval or want success or definitely have a much bigger idea of who they are than who they are, and when that personality enters the spiritual community, they show up as they attract a ton of people,
I know.
like a
I was just talking
surprising,
about that last night.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a surprising amount of people,
Yep.
and they're they don't have the gifts that they say they do. Maybe they have an inkling. I mean, everyone is multidimensional. Everyone can do what I do, what you do, and so much more if they
Yep.
get out of their own way, if they unload their trauma, if they work on their gifts, if they get rid of all the things that weigh them down. We can all do this, right? But it's intention is so important. What's
Hmm.
behind what's your intention? What's your motivation? What's the end result? Like, if the end result is pure, you're going to do well. Like, I put very little effort into advertising myself. I just do a lot of collaborations that I truly enjoy, and
Mm.
then people find me, and so I feel like that flow state is exactly where I'm supposed to be, because if I pushed it too much, it would start to feel inauthentic, or I would be too tired,
Yes.
or and
Yes.
it also takes a lot of energy to do what we do. you
It
know
really does. It does. And even
yeah.
just starting out doing like one session a day,
Hmm.
can wear
Yeah.
you out
Yeah.
until you're used to it.
I
But
I
yeah, like it.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to change the subject, so please keep going.
Oh, yeah, it was funny. I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine last night about the like spiritual Hollywood sort of stuff and how a lot of the people who don't have the best intentions are the ones who get really big in the spiritual community, and how
Yeah.
it's a big lesson in all of us learning discernment, right?
Mhm.
Like, just because they fit the bill of what you've been telling yourself a spiritual person should look like or sound like.
Mhm.
You have to feel into it. And when I first started getting into this stuff, I mean, that's all I had was YouTube. I didn't really have
Me
like,
too.
I didn't have any spiritual friends. I didn't have any like community as far as that sort of stuff went. So I went on YouTube and I was seeing all of these like people in these beautiful gowns doing light language on the side of a
Mhm.
cliff in Sedona and blah blah blah, and it was like, oh, wait a second, I don't look anything like that, I don't
Yeah.
act anything like that. Does that mean I'm not a spiritual person? Does that mean I don't belong? So it was just like, it was a lot of self inquiry, and then followed by
Yeah.
a shit ton of shadow work, and conclusion being that everyone is spiritual.
Yeah.
We're all fractals of source, and it doesn't matter what you look like.
Mhm.
It matters what's on the inside and if your intentions are pure. Really.
What's funny is I've had a lifetime of being this person, but when it was time to become who I am now, I didn't even give myself the credit of all of the years. So I would go I grew up I've always loved to walk, and I would walk to libraries, and I would check out, I think you could check out like up to 14 books at the time. I would clear an entire spiritual section in every library and just bring home all the books. And I had one job that every day on my lunch hour I would rush down to this one great bookstore and um, just get my iced coffee, and I would read every astrology book in their section. And I'm really glad that I had that uh, beginning, because I feel like I absorbed a lot more. It's so easy now to go online and things are just fed to you, and you still have to do the research, or you have to listen. I've switched from reading a lot mostly to listening now, but um I've probably read 1,000 books on spirituality, from out of body experiences to astral traveling to, like every single thing Sylvia Brown put out, like all of that. Then a few years ago, probably like 2017, 2018, 2018, I discovered Dolores Cannon. And
Mm.
I'm sure I probably read some of her books. It would be hard for me to believe that I didn't. I just didn't remember it was her specifically. And she was my entry level into all of this. And she's an excellent, like a lot of people, I've heard some more negative things. At first, I heard a lot of positive and supportive things. And then I would start to hear people make some negative comments, like um, the way that, what she was telling people, like, we're so far past that, whatever. Well, Dolores Cannon did this for 40 years and then passed away in 2016. So what she left us with was from quite a few years ago. Yes, we have advanced so much. And just because we know way more than maybe she was sharing at the time, although I still think that her information is extremely high level, and a lot of people just aren't even ready to absorb what she was saying. I believe she's such a good example of authenticity, because
Mm.
she was
Yeah.
so just, this is who I am. She
Yep.
wouldn't even give herself credit for any type of um, powers, or abilities. She just had these incredible experiences when she would put people under, and they were documented, and
Hmm.
so I think I like that, I like that version where people are like, "Oh, and then this happened to me. This is kind of cool. Let me apply my life skills and take this and get some more information. Like, I love to learn. I want to explore this. Let's see what else we can unlock." And so when you have creators like that on YouTube, or people that just show up and they're like, "Hey, let's have a great conversation. I do have these abilities. If you want to work with me, let's see what happens together," you're going to get a really good experience. It's going to be very positive, because you are completely running the game. Like, every client that I have, every bit of information that I share, that I mirror back, is from you. This isn't me telling you. I
Yeah.
don't know these things. But you are opening and unlocking. I'm able to see it. I can bring it up. We can talk about it. We can work through it, and you never have to deal with it again. And
Mm.
so great for anybody in that flow state and anybody that's showing up that way, fantastic. But it's these people that just show up because they're trying to step into something that doesn't fit. And again, I don't know how they attract so many so many people, but they're just repeating what they've heard. They
Yeah,
just
it's just a bunch of regurgitation.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
I think they fit what people kind of feel like a spiritual person should be, and I think it kind of plays on a lot of people's insecurities,
Yeah,
and people are, I
popularity.
think, yeah, and people are naturally looking to give their power away to others. So I
Yes,
think when somebody
yes,
comes to, comes into your vision and they look a certain way and they act a certain way and they're like, this is what, do you want to feel like me? All you
yeah,
got to do is A, B, and C. And it's
yeah,
like, people are like, oh, I want the easy way out. Yes, I'll do whatever you say.
yeah,
And so I think that's
yeah.
kind
That's
of
true.
how it goes.
We can just, as long as we have discernment, we can get positive growth from
Yeah,
all people that put themselves in the public eye. So I really am not trying to be negative. I don't have any anger or resentment towards the people that have these huge followings because I don't care. I mean, like, if I would rather have 100 authentic followers, if that's even,
absolutely.
I'm not even trying to say followers, but I would like all my clients become my friends, and I would rather have 100 authentic people in my life than 1,000 people watching from afar and me not knowing if I'm helping or not. Like, I know that I help, but
Absolutely.
but I wish that the people that have set themselves up to be the entry level would then further their growth, because look, you guys have the opportunity. If you have 20,000 followers, please, please step into your power and help those people help themselves and unlock. Like, don't tell them to worship you without saying it. Don't tell them that you're the only one. Like, every video that says, if you found this video, this is for you. Like, yes, there's to a point, but if you're saying that you're the only person that can help someone level up or find a fragment of themselves or whatever, like,
Then
those
you're doing the same thing the church does.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes,
Seriously,
yes. Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
Um, I had okay, so what really lights me up is, first off, having these awesome conversations, and like I just love the fact that I can like just cold call people, basically, like just email
Mhm,
random people I see online and just be like, "Hey, you want to get together and have a chat?" And then
mhm,
people do, and you just have this amazing exchange. I love that.
mhm.
But then also it's like I got a comment on my last video that I did with Shaman Destiny. Do you know her?
No,
Yeah.
but I saved it. I haven't watched it yet. But, oh, no, wait,
She's
wait. The
she's an
last
amazing
girl,
person.
is it the last
Yeah, the
video that you
last one I
posted?
did.
Okay, okay. I haven't
Yeah.
watched it yet, but, please.
She's she's like buds with Rion, and
Mm,
she lives in, I think, in she's in Arizona as well. But anyway, so I had a conversation with her and I got a comment that was like, I loved this video. I came to you from, watching. I was subscribed to someone that you had interviewed. And so I subscribed to your channel and I found this video and it was really helpful. It was great. And also, Gina, I just want to let you know that you're really doing what you're supposed to be doing. I just want to let you know that. And I was like, oh, that is so nice.
aw. Yeah.
Thank you. It's like they're helping me and I'm helping them as well. So it's like it's not just like I put these videos up and people watch me and whatever. I really, what I'm really interested in is trying to form like act as a bridge and like form communities and have like, you know, back and forths and conversations, not just have it be like me putting this stuff out and seeing how many subscribers I get. I really want to be able
Yeah.
to help people and make connections as well. So that's what I love.
one of the most enjoyable things I've done in a very long time is start my podcast with Shauna and Barb and
Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun.
yeah, Amber. Shauna and Barb are in Sedona. Amber's in Maui. Sage is going to come on soon. She's in Georgia. And then we're going to pull in, like Rion was on last week. Tyel has been doing parts of it. Shauna's mom, who does the UFO tours in Sedona, which
Oh, that lady. Okay.
incredible experience. Incredible. Anybody watching this, if you ever go to Sedona, you have to look up
The
uh,
Sedona
the
tours.
best tours of Sedona. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It is amazing. Amazing. Her name's Sheila. Just hit me up and I'll connect you. Um, but it has been so natural and fun. And the reason we had talked about it, but finally I was like, let's just do it. Like, let's just start, because we would already get together and have these fun Zooms to catch up, and
Oh, okay.
so many people that I know will say, like my clients will say, I just don't have anyone to talk to. Like you were saying, I have no one I have my best friend, Michelle, is on her own ascension journey. We talk about almost every conversation is like, girl, like you are not going to believe, and I've learned to say, you're not going to believe, or I can't believe this happened, because like, that's my life now. Like, I can't believe this is happening every day. And so I do have her, and I have her family. I'm very, very blessed. I grew up as like a foster child, almost to her family. They took me in many times because things were crazy when I was growing up. And her parents were reverends of a spiritualist church. That entire family is awake. We can speak freely, do odd things freely. Like, there's a lot of almost everyone in there is touched by a psychic ability. So I do have that, but that's it. Like, I don't have any other community here. And my clients typically tell me the same thing. And what I love, I am sure part of the reason why my abilities came in now at this time in my life is because of the internet. Like, I am able to find my friends all over the United States, and we can have a real, genuine, important connection, whether it's by daily voice notes or texts, or when we all can actually get together in 3 different time zones and get on Zoom, and have these great conversations and realize how similar what's affecting one person is affecting the other person. And so I was like, let's just put this on a podcast, because we are not the only ones experiencing this,
Right.
and so we just did our 3rd episode. But it has been the reason I am enjoying this journey so much, is because what we always use the term synchronicity when you see 1111 every day, or numbers on a license plate. Like, those are like those are entry level synchronicities. What people The law of attraction, or just the word attraction in general, when you get to a certain place and you learn how to attract your vibe, like you and I have, like you said, we have so much in common. Of course we met. Like,
Mhm.
that happens to me very often, where I will just what feels like spontaneity, reach out to someone. I don't message people, strangers, very often, but something will prompt me to reach out, and then that person ends up being fundamental in my life at that time, or like moving forward, and
Yeah.
it's so important. It's so important. When I first started this journey, I booked a lot of sessions in like in 2020. 'Cause what else did we have to do, right? And
Yeah, right.
and
Go out in your backyard and look at all the light
yeah,
ships.
yeah. Well, yes. I mean, I thrived during that time.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
as an introvert, it was beautiful. So I booked a lot of sessions, and in the sessions, one thing that I noticed is this incredible connection with these people. But then the moment it was over, you're left with like, okay, thank you, beautiful, and thank you for your time. And now it's time for me to do the work. Like, I get that, but no one to talk about it with.
Mhm.
You had someone to talk about it with for an hour or 2 hours during that session, and it was beautiful, and it was exactly what you needed. But then you're left with just yourself again, and okay, so now it's almost like school, like, an online course, I guess, that you're doing with yourself. But it doesn't unless you have the resources, unless you have the collective or the soul group or whatever people to bounce these ideas off of, you're you're going to grow, but you're going to grow faster hearing that other people are having these experiences too. And so these
Right.
connections are really important. And that's why I say my clients become my friends. I don't overextend myself, but I tell everyone, like, we're connected now. Like, you don't hesitate to message me in the middle of the night because you had this crazy astral dream or something we talk about, like you had a big epiphany or what. I'm like, I'm here for it, like I'll respond when I can, but like, just because we're going to hit stop and I'm going to send you a recording doesn't mean it's over, because we absolutely need each other. We had
So much. So
such a
much.
profound intimacy in all of that work that we just did. I'm not just going to be like, okay,
Right.
I don't I wish I didn't have to charge for this. But you have to, you have to. There's when you show up, when you set a time and you show up and you give your all, you give 100%, some type of exchange has to happen. And I also believe that people, when they pay for something, they'll take it more seriously and they'll feel like they're doing something, they're purchasing a gift for themselves or whatever. And it for some reason money still needs to be a part of that, I guess, right? um
Mhm.
but it doesn't stop the connection. It doesn't stop the need for more um expansion on the work that you
Mhm.
just did. And who better to be able to bring that up with is the person that just helped you unlock it, you know?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and I
I
don't
think
think a lot of those programs and a lot of the people we were talking about that attract those big, I don't think those people, you can't be there for 1,000 people,
no.
you know?
No.
So, yeah.
I think that this sort of I guess spiritual business evolution, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. Us, like so many of us right now on earth are realizing that we have something to contribute that's more than just, going to work or whatever. And so we're figuring out how to come into our authenticity, how to come into the public and share our gifts. But also I feel like we don't have to make our business the way that it's always been, where it's like cash exchange, transactional, like
Mhm,
when the session's over, that's it. Don't talk to me. You know what I mean? It's
mhm,
it's so much like it's very compartmentalized. It's like I am the one with the energy. I am the one who helps you. And then when you're done, like, it's over with and there's no contact. I feel like we can kind of build on top of that and make it whatever we want. So it's like, yeah, we're doing sessions for each other, but we're also building community and we're also really supporting each other, not
mhm,
just, at certain times. So I think that's really exciting myself. I
mhm.
feel like.
Yeah. Well, and that is the thing, is I did pull so significantly back from my 3D job, with a wedding cake company, just because it started to feel inauthentic.
Mhm.
Love my crew. The creativity is beyond, like, we were on the Food Network many times. Like,
Oh, cool.
I'm very blessed with the experiences that I've had, and I learned how to network, and I learned a lot of manifestation. I have some really cool experiences with where I took our company publicly or social media or whatever. Um, but I just couldn't do the same thing over and over again, and I couldn't do something that just felt like it was such a part of the matrix and programming. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying don't get married. I'm not saying don't throw birthday parties. You Everybody does what they want to do, but I couldn't do it and believe it. And if I don't believe it, I'm a really good salesperson when uh, I was always good at it because I was selling the ability of my team. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
their craftsmanship and their artistry was so beyond what you typically see. And so I was invested in that, and that they were all really good people, and
Mhm.
that they really genuinely cared about what they did, and our product was really good. Okay, so all that stuff. So I was able to do it for a long time, and I'm still able to show up and do the deliveries. I love it, mostly because I'm alone and I can have earbuds in, and I love putting flowers on cakes, and all that is great, and I do have quite a few friends in different hotels and stuff because I was able to find good people, throughout my lifetime. But saying that, I just couldn't do the job. I couldn't do a 3D job anymore. And so
Oh, yeah.
I
I totally
switched
get
into
that.
this. Yeah. So by switching into this and really putting all my effort into this, it I'm good at it now. And so I do need to replace a little bit of the money that I pulled away from, because how else, my son still wants his, video games, and like we still got to live. So but
Right.
I'll put this out here. I'm a real good at, like, hey, this is what I do. Do you want to exchange services? I love to do that with people too. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, it's such an exciting time. Like, I'm yeah, I'm figuring out how to put myself out there without so much of the, like, wounded motivation, you know what I mean? This, like, sense of, like, "Well, I'm supposed to be doing this. I don't really
Yeah.
wanna do it, but I'm supposed to help humanity, so," like, kind of dropping all that baggage, and kind of learning how to, like, really from a place of excitement and authenticity,
Hmm.
putting myself out there just for the joy of it. Like, just like these conversations, I just love them. They really light me up. And then also at the same time, like, I a couple of months ago, I stopped working in 2020. I quit my job. I had been a cook for 20 odd years, kitchen manager, what have you. And I just, like, my body was physically falling apart. My mind, my emotional state was a total mess. I was just like, I'm done. I don't know what else to do, like, I can't cook anymore, and I can't take orders from whoever anymore. I just
Hmm.
cannot do it. And
Yes.
so I had a few years to become the hermit and to really kind of do some deep digging. And recently I was like, okay, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. There's a lot of grid work that I want to do that's in other countries. And how am I going to do it? I need money. So
Hmm.
can I find a job that I can apply my abilities to, that I can, like, feel good about being in? And so I found this job, working with adults with physical and mental disabilities, and or I don't know, I don't want to say disabilities. Clear, cancel, delete that. I want to say different abilities.
Hmm.
There we go. And really, I mean, gosh, it has been so eye opening. It's been amazing. And I feel like it's such a good fit. So I feel like there, in some ways, I feel like some people are meant to have these regular jobs and they can, like, work the grids from working these regular jobs and kind of, like, help them evolve from the inside out. I feel like there's that component to it. But also I feel like the people that I'm working with are really helping me. They're really teaching me a lot of valuable lessons.
Hmm.
And I'm loving it. So I think I'm going to keep that job for a little while, at least. At least, we'll see how it goes, but I love it. So,
Well, um, if you can wear the term star seed or light worker, then
sure.
you have you have to you don't have to, but so much of the way it works is by being around others. And so if we
Mhm.
are in okay, working in a kitchen is like working, you're not saving lives, but the fight or flight and the response time and everything else is
Oh,
very
gosh.
similar to a paramedic, because
Yes,
everything
it's
happens
real.
at that moment, and you can't fail. Like it has, you have to do it right. You have to,
Unless you want to get a frying pan thrown at your
yeah,
head or
yes,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
depending on the fancier the kitchen, the more of a dick the guy in charge is. So, but though, and those are life skills though too, like, those are life
Yeah.
skills, and so, but you are also taking your beautiful vibration and putting it into every meal that you prepared, and you were working with food, and that food's getting ingested by people. It served a purpose,
Mm,
and
exactly.
your intention, it served a purpose, but also being able to get out of the matrix and is so eye-opening. And that when you do follow your passion and your excitement, and you realize that you can succeed and that everything is going to be okay, like,
Yeah.
everything's always going to be okay, because we're in charge of that. If you feel like you're
Exactly.
going to fail, you're going to fail. But if you believe that you can do this, you can do this. And almost everyone that I interact with now like this on a regular basis, excuse me, has gotten out of the matrix and is getting paid to exist, which is really important. Um, that's authentic. Um, and then here you find a job which basically hones your psychic skills. What more of where could you find more telepathy and energy work
Mm,
than working with people who don't communicate the way that like we're programmed to believe you're supposed to communicate. Every person
right.
with a disability, they're just living in 5D. Like
Mm,
they are completely, there's no block. They are connected to source.
yeah.
And now you're interacting with these people. Now
And they're
you have to match their vibration in order to be there, right?
yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah.
I feel like they have such like, and I don't mean this in a negative or like condescending way, but they have childlike
Hmm.
energy that's so innocent. Like when they see
Yes.
something that lights them up, their whole face changes and they're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
like they are. It's so
We
inspiring to be
lose
around
that.
them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we've lost that. And then when people say, do inner child work, that's really what they're talking about. When you that's what I compare hanging out with, like when we were getting together to make the reason I created Enlighten Up Media is so that we could create these really funny, silly disclosure videos. I don't know if you've seen them with
No.
Rion and Shauna in it. Okay. So the brainstorming sessions for those were some of the most fun things I've ever been a part of.
Oh
Not
yeah.
even just getting the video out, but all of us showing up on Zoom and creating ideas of like really funny things for these disclosure videos that we made. And I compared it to when you're little and it's recess and you run out of your classroom and you go out to the monkey bars and you either see kids or kids from other classes you might not know that well, but you just decide we're going to play that. Like one of the things I always love to do, I did this from very young and I always remember doing this. I would get on the swings and a friend would be next to me and I'd say, okay, now we're going to fly to these different destinations. Now we're flying over Disneyland. Like, what do you see? And it would engage our fantasy and creative mind. And it would make you present. When you were a little kid and you were playing, you were present. Everything
Mhm.
else went away and you were present and you were authentic. And we get so bogged down by bills and programming, the matrix, religion, other people's approval, fucking trauma, like tower moments, like all those things are just distractions. And when you
Mhm.
start getting rid of them, you end up childlike again. And then you and I show up in this interview and we're talking about all these things that light us up and are exciting for us and like I feel really good right now. Like really
Aw.
really good right now. I'm not thinking about anything else that's going on. I don't have a to-do list that's in the back cycling in the back of my head. And that's what being a mom of someone with autism has been like. I've watched so my son grew up in the same age range as most of my friends, right? Because we're all about the same age. And so our kids were about the same age. They would go through things, but then their kids started to like, drop me off a block before school because they didn't want to be seen, like the normal things that kids do. Or they'd
Mm.
be in a mall and they'd be like, Mom, don't walk with me. You can buy me stuff, but like, stay back a little bit, like, like funny
Yeah.
things, right? My son wants to be around me. My son is so excited about life and about experiences, and we go on all these adventures, and I completely change. He's my best teacher. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting tearful. Like I have learned so much about myself and about what's important, and like be witnessing the world through his eyes, like the innocence. And he's an intelligent being, but the innocence and just like embracing what's in front of you and making the most of it and like enjoying the mundane because he's a happy person. Like I am better every day because of him, and
Aw.
that's what anybody that is not weighed down by programming, whether you're just an enlightened being or you're somebody, on the spectrum, whatever it is, like that is they were born like we have to unfuck ourselves. They were born like that, you know?
It's so
Lifetime.
true. It's
I'm
so
getting the
true.
t-shirt. I'm making the t-shirt to unfuck yourself. Like that's
Get me one. I want
yeah,
one.
that should be the name of my company, but I don't think, I don't think unfuck yourself is a good email address. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a little edgy, but, no, it's so true, though. I was just thinking that. They just don't have that, I don't it's not like a filter, but they just don't have the extra layers of
Ego.
protection of yeah, that armor, that
Mhm.
shell that we all form around ourselves of like, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be left out, I don't want to be rejected. Then they don't have that. And so
A good
it
comparison.
frees up a lot of space.
Yeah. We're in San Diego and we live downtown, so we witness Comic-Con, like, in, you know, in color. And live and in front of us. That was one of the reasons we moved down here. And my son loves cosplay, and loves just he just loves stepping into whatever he's feeling in the moment. And so when he was younger, if he was playing a video game, he would dress up like the characters, and loves Halloween, everything, loves holidays. And it's finding your tribe in this community is very similar to the people who are really into cosplay and expression and fantasy, and then that one day a year when they actually get to dress up and go to Comic-Con and no one makes fun of them. It's like
Right.
it's hard to find that, but this community has that if you can find your people, where you can show up. Like, sometimes I'll show up to my meetings with a third eye tattoo on my forehead. I want to make them laugh, but it's also fun to do it. Like, self-expression is so important. And
Yeah.
there's so many reasons that people feel like they can't express themselves and be authentic and show up who they are, and this is one of the communities where you can. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I have felt like my sense of humor has really changed in the past few years. Like I put my big old walnut shell armor on pretty early in life, and so I was a very very jaded cynical teenager, back in
Yeah.
the 90s, and really into grunge, really into like being cynical and sarcastic and very jaded. And in the past few years, I feel like my sense of humor has really gotten much more innocent, like much more just silly, more slapstick
Mhm.
than like jaded dark comedy or whatever. It's a lot more fun to just hang out and laugh with people
You
because
should.
before it was always laughing at other people
Mhm, mhm.
and now it's just laughing for the fun of it.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I cringe at that I used to laugh at. Like
oh, me too.
like
Yeah.
I'm not progressive. Like, I don't apologize for everything and everyone, and it's not that. But there are things where I'm like, okay, it's funny, but it's too easy. Like, take
Hmm.
it to a higher level. Um, in when someone is the scapegoat too much of the humor and the joke, and there's so much. I can't watch the shows I used to watch that I used to be able to just kind of tune out. Like, if I wanted to decompress at the end of the night and watch a sitcom, my my bar is so much higher now because I don't like
Yeah.
self-deprecating. I can't stand self-deprecating humor, and
I
almost all of
know.
that is based on it.
Yeah, it kind of hurts your soul a little bit when you watch that stuff and it just
Mhm,
feels like it like little energy darts going into
mhm.
into your heart chakra. It
Yeah,
like physically hurts me sometimes to watch some of that stuff. I haven't been able to watch many like, comedies
yeah,
lately
yeah.
because it's
I'm
just yeah, it's just damaging. It feels like it's either really passive aggressive or
Mhm.
sarcastic, which kind of equals out to be aggression. in some form or another. You know, passive aggressive, that's aggression. And I feel like
Mhm.
sarcasm is another form of aggression as well.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. So I got to find silly stuff to laugh at. Like I've been watching a lot of The Muppet Show,
Mhm.
you
Yes.
know,
Big
you
fans
know,
over here. Big fans of the
yeah.
Muppet Show over here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
good. Yeah. The,
It's funny.
What We Do in the Shadows is probably one of the
Oh,
my most favorite sitcoms.
I absolutely love, and that's
Yeah.
sarcastic AF. Like, but
It's
it
fine
is
though.
sarcastic,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's something about it. I love that show. Oh,
The
all of
sarcasm
them.
is based on the fact that they are 100% believing in themselves, and that's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. It's like they don't take themselves too
Yeah.
seriously, but their comedic timing and their ability to just unforgivably be themselves and, like, speak it, and they learn
Right.
all the time on that show. It's oh my god, that's if anybody needs a good break from reality, go begin that
What We
series.
Do in the Shadows. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Energy Vampire
Oh,
Council.
so good.
So
Everything.
funny.
Everything about that show. Yeah.
Oh my
Well, g
gosh. Yeah.
you'll appreciate our silly video. We have 2 on there. We have started quite a few others, but we have 2 on there. But, if you go to Enlighten Up Media and you find our 10-minute disclosure video,
Oh, I'll watch it.
with Rhiannon and Shauna, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Well, everybody
Awesome.
that I've mentioned up until this point is part of that, but those you happen to know Rhiannon and Shauna.
Yeah.
That
Awesome.
yeah, we really brought that energy to it where we just take so many of the themes that people ponder in the woo community and then make a phone yeah, it's great. It's great.
It's very childlike too. Like, let's
Mhm,
put on a play, you
mhm.
know? Let's put
Well,
on a little show.
you know what's, awesome? And this is very I don't even know who else watches these, but because we did that, it was Rion and Tyle's birthday pretty soon after, and so I reached out to everyone else and said, "Hey, it's their birthday. Why don't we make a birthday video for them?" And so we kept showing up as either part who we played in the video or like other aspects that we had talked about. So
Mhm.
for a year now, we have made birthday videos for everybody in our group, and some of them, they're just a few minutes long, but they're so silly and they're so fun, and they've like, I have come out of my shell, like, big time. Like, I always laugh, and when I'm with my friend I'm very sarcastic, and when I'm with my friends, like, we're always joking around, but there's a different version of yourself that you find that you can be really silly with the people you're comfortable with, but you probably don't show that in general.
Right.
Like, you can still
Right.
have a sense of humor, but to actually, like, not be self-conscious while you're doing it, and
Mhm.
this these videos, knowing that they're just going out there and, like, me, like, forcing myself to be uncomfortable because I know it's funny, I've it's really helped me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's funny, but it's also really good for you as
yeah,
well. The
yeah,
different layers, like, you're having fun with your friends, but you also know that it's gonna be seen by a bunch of people you don't know, and it kind of forces you out of your shell a little bit,
yeah,
and yeah. I mean, you can, and also, like, there's a big difference between being silly sarcastic and being, like, self-deprecating and,
yeah,
like mean to other people sort of
yeah,
sarcasm. That's what I meant when I said
yes.
it's a form of aggression. But there's definitely, that's
It's
what I'm
bullying.
finding is there's a good medium
Mhm.
in the middle
Yeah, there's
between
no
like being a dick and just, you know, being silly and having fun.
yeah. No, being a dick and being arrogant for laughs, as long as it's not directed towards somebody else, is okay the if the audience knows that you know that you're being, arrogant. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference, and
There
so yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, so
It's like breaking the fourth and fifth wall.
yeah, 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 and that's why What We Do in the Shadows works, because
Yeah.
they are, um it's very obvious that they're using that the crew filming them is like, "Oh, just be yourself. It's okay. Just be yourself. I'm gonna ask
And they're
you
so
questions."
unaware.
Yeah, Yeah, it's good. It's good. But yeah, the humor is so healing. It's so fun and it's so
Yeah,
important. And
I love it.
I have enjoyed this year so much because I've been creating with these people that I love in a way that I didn't know was possible. Like I every cell in my being lights up when e- when I'm with them in person, which we've had the true blessing of being able to gather a few times this year, and then or just on Zoom. Like it is nothing can replace that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's not like a typical like support group where everyone's kind of bitching and moaning about stuff and it's like, "Oh, well, this
Yeah.
happened," and
None of it.
that kind of no, you're all just like laughing and having fun,
Yeah.
which is that's
Well,
great.
if someone in our group is having a rough time and we get together to talk about it, we talk about it, we we open it up, we offer solutions, and the entire time it's healing and cathartic, and
Yes.
it ends up with like, "You know what? I feel better now because I got it out and now I have a way to view it completely differently because you guys rode this journey with me, and then I don't even care anymore because I've unlocked it and the
Mhm.
entire time it was to get to the solution. It's
Right.
okay to complain about something because you're not happy about something and to call someone else that's a good mirror or they have or they're going to hear you and they know you and they're going to honestly reflect back to you, well, have you thought about this or whatever. If some Don't call the people that are yes
Whoa,
people.
did you see that?
Yeah.
What
Whew.
was that about? That was weird. Okay.
Who just stepped in? Let me see if I can see
I
anybody.
know,
Yeah.
somebody just came in.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Um, or that's intermission when they flash the lights.
Yeah, could be.
Like, take a break.
Yeah.
Um, I totally lost my train of thought. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna say, like, support groups. It's
yeah,
good to have an outlet. It really is. But I've experienced both where, like, some are just, like it's nice to have a sound bar, a soundboard rather,
yeah.
where you can just you have a safe space to talk about stuff, and then also, like, some people can offer solutions, and then I've been in a few support groups where it's just, man, it's such a bummer because
It's a
like,
bitch
everybody's just
session.
like,
Yeah,
"Oh, the ascension symptoms,
yeah.
oh,"
That's when
and
the energy vampire's like, "Yes, yes,
yes.
feed me, yeah, feed me." Yeah. No,
Right.
look, there's no point. There's no point. I tell my clients this too. If if you come to me to do some work, fantastic. I have sought out people who are better at this than me, and many times in order to level up, okay? So bring your issue and your problem. We're going to talk about it. We're going to open it up, unlock it. We're going to do some energy work. We're going to get you out of the way. We're going to get you to see it in such a different way. It doesn't even bother you anymore. We're going to remove the triggers. You are not going to define yourself by that anymore. Okay. I feel, I feel, and therapy is important, and having somebody to talk to is very important. And there are way bigger subjects that take quite a few sessions to unlock, and I totally acknowledge all that. But when someone finds me, our first session really is the only one that you need. When you come back, it should be talking about your growth. And when you come back, if you come back a third time, there it should be all about the solution that you came up with. And if you
Mm,
keep coming back, then it's energy work. Like it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 discussions about one topic. If you show up to hack it and you show up to do the shadow work or whatever, the moment you unlock it, you're already there. You did it. You did it.
it's already done in
It's
the
done.
energetics.
Yeah, you don't have to commiserate. You don't have to find other people that are miserable. You don't have to find don't do that. You're holding yourself back. Like don't seek the vibe of your equal. Seek the vibe of somebody that is thriving and then match their energy. When you match their energy, you look back and you're like, "What was I bitching about?" We're we're fine, like I understand this is multi-layered, and on my ascension journey, if we have to call it that, I have gone through some stuff where I dealt with like there was just still a few people that I needed to work out of my system and not be triggered by anymore. But I would
Mhm.
say, unless you just catch me at like my worst, like I'm hungry, I'm hormonal, I'm tired, like if somehow you get the trifecta, actually, if I've been out around too many people, that's when you can get me. So if I if
Yeah,
I've been out and like
right.
didn't shield myself and I am like overstimulated, you might be able to get me to respond where I snap back and I don't feel good about it immediately. But that's it. I'm done. I'm done with all of the being so I don't argue. I can't stand arguing. Cannot stand
Yeah.
it. I don't invite myself to the arguments and I don't invite the arguments. Don't even bring that energy towards me because there is no point. And you're just going to get nothing anyway, which infuriates people. But like there is zero it discussion, talking things out, bringing certain things up and addressing them 100%. But if you're all you want to do is emotionally react to something, I am not your person, you know?
Yeah.
And that comes with growth. That comes with I have not always been that person. I've never liked to argue. I've been saying that for 20 years, but like people don't realize that if you're still someone who likes to argue, then you're holding yourself back from your happiness.
Mm.
And it doesn't like people will say, well, argument's just a part of life and whatever. And I just have a quick temper. Dude, you can change all of that. Who told you you have a quick temper?
Right.
Astrology? Your a theme in your family? Like you don't have to be that person the moment you decide you don't want to be that person. And if you
That's true.
continue to be that person, then you're not doing the work. Like you don't have to no one has to respond with emotion. No one has to respond. And if it floods through you, take a minute. Like you can overcome anything about yourself that you want to work on if you come at it authentically. And
Mhm.
yeah, sorry, I don't know why I went off on that emotion
Oh,
train.
I mean, maybe it was something, somebody needed to hear, who knows?
There you go.
I in the past, I've never been an arguer either. I can't I don't like arguing at all, but I have been a ruminator where you just loop and loop and
Yes.
loop.
Yes.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
done that, and I'm working towards stopping those loops. And it's getting, the more shadow work you do, it gets easier.
Yeah.
Every time you see another pattern and you're like, I
Yeah.
see you, and I recognize what you are, and I love you, it gets less and
Yeah.
less. So
Yeah.
it's a
Oh, hey,
process, though.
hey there from 5 months ago. You're back, huh? Okay. All
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Another layer to the onion.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We're
So,
human. We're here for the human experience. I have not hacked my way out of 50% of like where I'm gonna achieve, right? But once your eyes are open and you realize that so much of it, what worked for me for a solid year I think it was yeah, it was 2023 and I did this a lot last year too. The moment something would come up, I would say, "Wait, stop, we don't care. That is 3D, we don't care." And because I was able to
nice.
do that, I would start to see, "Oh my god, we don't care." I don't care with the way that somebody just looked at me when I'm on a dog walk, and if they shot me a look, there's probably 1,000 things going on in their head, and I have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I'm not hypersensitive to that. I don't make everything about me anymore too. That comes with hacking your ego. And, um, people don't realize how much they take on from others and either they make it about themselves or they're a defensive listener and so everything they hear they turn it around and make it about that like for some reason it was directed at them because it's about them or whatever. Like when you can push things away and just say, wait, hold on, do we really care about we don't care about that. That has nothing to do with our life, like we don't care. I, I said it daily over and over and over again, um, until I really got to the point where no, we don't care. Like that is whatever's going on over there is for them. It was always about other people, is what I realized. If somebody shows up, I was a manager in this building, where I live, for 6 years, and I had this one vendor who was nuts, like something was wrong with him. He's an elevator vendor, and I remember he screamed at me about something once, and I was standing there and I was like, is this really happening? Like, what? But it got to me, and it actually, like, my blood pressure was racing, and I felt like I had to call my manager and let them know what happened, because I didn't know what the repercussion. This guy was so nuts that I was afraid of what he was going to say to her and all this stuff. And that was the last one that got to me, and I worked through it, and finally I was like, that had nothing to do with me. Like, now I'm able to, the moment that stuff starts with if you're in line, if you're on the street, if you're driving, whatever it is, that is someone else's version of what they're going through, and it has nothing to do with me. And now that like, my brain's like, okay, you got some inner work to do, you got some healing to do, that's some childhood trauma
Right.
right there. And putting it back on the person or the situation, and realizing that it has nothing to do with you, and you distance yourself, you're not triggered. You don't
Yeah.
care. There's no argument to be had. There's no discussion. It's not even any of my business. Even if you
Right.
directed it at me, it's none of my business. Then the perfect thing happened, as I heard Jessa Reed. Do you know who Jessa Reed
I
is?
freaking love Jessa
Okay.
Reed.
Okay.
I tried to get
Yeah.
her to get on the show.
She's so
Hasn't
rad.
happened yet.
Yeah. Pisces are hard. You have to get them in their bubble. They go back in their bubble, and then when they come out, and if you get them, you got them. But when they go back in, they're gone. Love
I
the
love her though. I saw her
Yeah.
comedy stand up, and there was one clip that she did. This was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I randomly saw her. She was like, she did some stand up about being her meth addiction
Yeah.
days, and the second she started talking about interacting with blue people, I was like, you're my type.
Yep.
I know exactly I know what's going on
Yeah.
here. I
Oh,
know.
she's so rad. I've
She's
learned so
amazing.
much. I have hacked so many of my own inner whatever shadow work, and whatever we keep using that term. Um, I Jessa Reed is amazing, and
Mhm.
listening to her different podcasts, like she creates something and then does like 10 episodes or whatever. In one of them, she referred to the term victim consciousness, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
what is that? And I looked it up, and I saw the definition after I heard her explain it, and I wrote it on my refrigerator, and I, for a year, ran everything through my victim consciousness filter and lens, and
Yeah.
if it immediately saw the world in such a different saw myself and my
Yep.
role in the world in such a different way, and hacked being a victim. I am so aware now, even if I'm thinking on a walk, and I start to be like, well, nope.
Nope,
We
no victim here.
No, 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 no. We don't do that. Remember, we don't care. We don't do that anymore. Like, it comes that quickly. Um, that was a really big one. That was a really
That's
big one. Like, I have evolved. Everyone listening, go look up Jessa Reed. Go find her AOD
yep.
Awakening podcast and start at the beginning. Like, she is amazing and funny. Oh my God, she's funny.
So
You'll get
funny.
her. If you want her, you'll get her. If you want her, you'll
I
get
hope
her.
so. We'll
Yeah,
see.
you'll get
I
her.
might maybe I'll get a session with her and be like,
Yeah,
"Hey, by the way."
I've thought of that. I've thought of that. And if you follow her, just sign up for her on Patreon. You don't even have to pay, but she'll
Yeah,
put
I'm on her Patreon.
yeah, and she'll tell you
She's
when
so
her sessions
cool.
are open. I
I
am.
painted half my house listening to her podcasts.
That's
I love
rad.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I
Well,
fixed my life. I fixed my life listening to her podcast. Yeah.
well, speaking of being human and actually canine,
Yeah.
my little man over here, he needs his dinner.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Little ducky, so I should probably get going. But yeah, dude, this episode was so fun, and I'm so honored that you came on and had this great conversation.
Thank you.
And we have our little matching
Yes.
we have our little matching
Yes,
lamps
yes,
over
yes,
here.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Where's the other one? There we go. Yeah. Yes. So
But
everyone needs Organite.
yeah, go to Team Light if you want some Organite, or just make some.
Yeah.
Either way.
But Team Light Store is teamlightstore.com. They're doing it for real. Like there's amazing stuff there. I'm about to join them in at the end of the month in Tucson, Arizona at the Gem Show, where they're going to buy.
I was going to go to the Gem Show, but I had to cancel. Ugh.
You did? Oh,
yeah. I think we're gonna go to Shasta in maybe April instead. So, but
okay,
yeah, I really
can't
wanted to
argue
go.
that.
Yeah, I know, one cool experience for another.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll make it to Tucson someday.
I know you have to go, and we can pick this up offline. But is this your first time going to Mount Shasta?
Yeah.
Oh, message me. I don't know everything, but I can tell you like the hotel, like all the fun places to go. Yeah, I'll give you a bunch of information. Like we love it there. There's not a lot to do there, which it's not a big town is what I should say. There's a ton to do if you show up to do it, but there's not a lot of distractions, and that's what's great about it. Like it's that perfect, beautiful, small Hallmark town, and it's all about your experiences that you create for yourself there. And so it's easy. Yeah. Anyway, so hit me up about that. Message me.
Yeah, I will. And so with that, me and my little, can you see him? My little Sasquatch buddy.
Your Squatch.
Yay! And we're going to say goodbye to the audience, and we'll continue the conversation after I press end recording. But thank you to everybody who made it this far in the podcast. I guess this is a podcast. Yeah, thank you so much. And if you guys enjoyed these conversations, I don't know where to look to make eye contact, so please
camera.
bear with me.
I think camera.
Yeah.
I never think about it.
Yeah. But if you guys want to subscribe, like all that good stuff, it really helps to get the channel out there with the algorithms and all that. So if you could do that, that'd be great.
Comment.
And
apparently,
comment. I love comments. I always read them. So, yeah, all that good stuff. And for now, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.